Uh, Good afternoon, everybody. Me and 538 are presenting on architectural issues. So, the preferred architectural model for the object DBMS has been client and server. So, there are some design issues regarding this client server thing. So, we'll see what they are. So the data and procedures are encapsulated as objects. So the unit of communication between these things will become an issue. Like between the servers and the clients, it becomes an issue. For example, the unit can be a page or an object or a group of objects. And the design decision regarding the functions provided by the client and the server is also an important thing, because the objects are not simply the passive data. They can and it is very necessary to consider the sites where the object methods are to be executed. So this also becomes a concern where we need to see. And in the relational client server systems, the clients simply pass the queries to the server, and then that will execute them and returns the result to the client. So this is known as the function shifting, and in this the client server DBMS, this is not the best approach, because the navigation of the composite and the complex object structures by the application program may dictate what data to be moved. So this also is a serious concern. And the objects, some objects may be composite and more complex. So then we have a possibility of prefetching the component objects when the object is being requested. So, but this may be like in relational client server systems, they actually do not prefetch the data from the server. So this is also a concern where we need to look upon. Next. So the alternative client server architectures are there are mainly two types. One is object servers, as you see in the left side, and the other one is the page servers. In the object server, we'll have the client and normally a client and a server. But in this, there will be only application and query interface, object browser, programmatic interface, object manager. But whereas in the page server architecture, you will be having an application, query interface, query optimizer also, and object browser, programmatic interface, object manager. In addition to these, we also have file and index manager, page and cache manager. And in the server thing, here in the object, we have the object manager, query optimizer, lock manager, store manager, and page cache manager. We have these things in the server. Whereas in page server architecture, we have the things like lock manager, storage manager, and page cache manager in the server. And just a minute, ma'am. So in this, like the first alternative is that the clients will request the objects from the server, which like retrieves them from the database and returns them to the requesting client. These systems are object servers. And in object server, the server undertakes most of the DBMS services. As we can see, there are many things in the object thing only. And in the page servers, it is like here the unit transfer, there will be a unit transfer between the servers and the clients. So that is the physical unit of data, such as like a page or a segment, rather than the objects. And earlier, when we considered the studies, the favored page server is, page server architecture is more over the object server architecture. In fact, these results actually have influenced in the earlier days, but like nowadays we are actually using this object server architecture because um, the page server architectures are better because when there is a match between the data clustering pattern and the user's access pattern. The object server architectures are better when the user's data access pattern is not the same as the clustering pattern. Next slide. So yeah, we have two things called client buffer management and server buffer management. Here, the clients can manage either a page buffer or an object buffer or both in this. So that is called, and that is why it's called the client buffer management. And if they have a page buffer, then the entire pages are read and written from the server. Every single time, if like from the server every time. When a page fault occurs or a page is flushed. Object buffers can read, write individual objects, and allow the applications object by objects access. And the object buffers manage access at a finer granularity because so that they can achieve the higher levels of concurrency. And if they experience the buffer fragmentation also, because the buffer may not be able to accommodate an integral multiple objects and thereby leaving some unused space. So this thing, causes the buffer fragmentation. Server buffer management. The server buffer management issues in object and client server systems. They are not much different than the relational things, but here the servers usually manage a page buffer. The issues are like interest of completeness. The pages from the page buffer are in turn sent to the clients to satisfy their data requests. A grouped data server constructs its objects by copying the necessary objects from the relevant server buffer pages and sends the object group to the clients. So here we actually maintain a modified object buffer, which is called as MOB. This MOB will store the objects that have updated and returned to the clients. So these updated objects have to be installed onto their corresponding data pages, which require installation reads also. So this is quite a very complex thing. And in this system, since the clients typically absorb most of the data request, so the system has a high catchy hit rate, and the server buffer usually behaves more as a staging buffer than a catchy thing. So yeah, and it is desirable to minimize the duplication of data here because the LRU with hate hints buffer replacement policy can be used. And the client and the server buffers, and this becomes a bit more complex when compared to the client buffer management. Next. This will be explained by Sumedha.
Yeah, so cache consistency. This problem basically occurs when the data is moved from cache to clients. And this is coupled with consistency control because cache data can be accessed by multiple clients at the same time. And also the locks that have the possibility to be cached along with the data. So we have algorithms for this, and they are broadly classified into two, avoidance based and detection based. The basic principle of avoidance based algorithm is to prevent the access to the stale cache data. Stale cache data is the one which is accessed by a client while the other client is updating its contents. So this algorithm ensures that there is no stale cache data at any point of time. Whereas coming to detection-based algorithms, they allow access to the stale cache data, while with an additional step of performing the validation at the time of commit. This is for ensuring the data consistency. And then based on the time when the write operation is being performed, they are again classified into synchronous, asynchronous, and deferred. In synchronous, the client sends the lock escalation message when it wants to perform a write operation, and it is blocked until the server responds. And here in asynchronous, unlike the synchronous one, it doesn't wait for the server response and continues optimally. And while in deferred, all the lock requests are actually grouped together, and then they're sent once when to the server at the commit time. So each of the avoidance based and detection based algorithms are furthermore divided into synchronous, asynchronous, and deferred. So in the avoidance based synchronous, the clients hold the read locks across the transaction and they give up the write locks at the end of the transaction. And in avoidance based asynchronous, after the lock escalation message is sent, it continues optimally, and the high abort rates here are removed by the server actions, which invalidate the stale data at remote lines. And in avoidance based differs, the locks are grouped and sent at the commit time, and then the server blocks the updating client if the other clients are reading the updated objects. And coming to detection based synchronous, here the clients contact the server whenever they want to access a page to ensure that the page is not stale. And detection based asynchronous, client sends the lock escalation message, but it again assumes that the request will be successful. And then after the client commits the transaction, the server again propagates the updated pages to all the other clients. And in detection based deferred, here the message overhead is actually less than the callback read locking, which is an example of avoidance based synchronous algorithm. And it can actually outperform callback locking algorithms even if it is encountering a very high abort rate. And these are the algorithms. We have callback read locking for avoidance based synchronous, and this is avoidance based asynchronous cache consistency algorithm. And this is optimistic two-phase locking for avoidance-based deferred, cache two-phase locking for the detection-based synchronous, no-wait locking for the detection-based asynchronous, and adaptive optimistic concurrency control for detection-based deferred. So,
I have to say about alternative client-server architectures. The two main types of alternative client-server architectures are object server and page servers. The main difference between the object server and page servers are based on two things. Their first one is granularity of data that they are shipped between the client and the servers, and the other one is functionality provided to the clients and servers. Let us discuss about object server architecture. In the object server architecture, objects are requested from the server, which retrieves them from the database and returns them to requested clients. Which means when we need something, the objects are requested from the server, in which servers are they will search in the database and they are returned back to the clients. And in this, server undertake most of the DBMS services. And in the object server architecture, object management layer is duplicated at both the client and the server sides, so that it can perform object functions at both sides, that is client side and server side. In the object server architecture, objects are cached at client to improve system performance, which is local accessing. And in this type of architecture, we no need to send one by one objects. In this, we can send a group of objects at a time, so that the time will be saved. And let us go to page server architecture. In the page server architecture, the unit of transfer between the servers and the client is a physical unit of data, that is page or segment. Sorry, the spelling mistake is there in the PPT. It is actually segment rather than the object. In this, objects it splits the object process services between the client and the servers. And it also simplifies DBMS code, as both the server and client maintain page caches. In this, representation of an object is the same all the way from disk to the user interface. In the page server architecture, only limited set of operations or functions are performed so that more number of clients can use at a time. As a result, it performs only some operations. Large amount of clients are used at a time. So, in this, the main advantage of page-based architecture is it is potential to save amount of data transfer to the client by filtering them at the server side. And the distribution of execution between different machines must also be accommodated as system moves towards peer-to-peer architecture. As we know that clearly both the architecture have important advantages and limitations. There are systems that can shift from the one architecture to other. For example, O2 would operate as a page server, but if the conflicts on page increases, would shift to object shifting. That's all, ma'am.
We're going to learn about alternative client server architecture. So basically there are two types of client server architectures. That is, one is object server and page server. How we divide these both? It basically is divided based on the granularity of the data and also the functionality. So first, let us focus on object server architecture. Basically, this is depends on how the objects are transferred from the server to the client. So client requests objects from the server, like a single object or a group of objects, and the server, when it receives a request from the client, it performs some DBMS service and then returns the objects to the client and server both maintains object managers, like they have the execution things. Object manager is basically used for execution purpose, so even client does some execution functions and even server does some execution functions. Then even object manager is also like responsible for object identifier, and even responsible for deletion of objects after the completion of things. When the object is received from the server, client manager functions on that and performs some methods, and here the query interface, which is at the client side, is responsible for the execution, and it performs some execution and it uses the data for itself. Here the objects are main important things. It can be of small data, like it can be a bit of data or more data. When it comes to, and even here we have an object cache, like client will ask, whenever the client gets the objects from the server, it maintains those objects in the cache, so that it doesn't need to ask again and again, and which reduces the time of execution. So whenever it receives some objects, it stores in the cache. Next is a page server architecture. Page server architecture is same as object server, whereas here we'll get here client requests for pages. So basically pages consist of different objects, like it can be a small object or a big data of objects. So page is a combination of objects, and whenever a client requests for the page, server will retrieve it from the disk and returns it to the client. Client maintains a cache of the pages, and here client is only responsible for the execution of the page. The server has no part of the execution, and server takes only very less time to execute something. Just server responsibility here is to get the pages from the disk and hand over it to client. Client is responsible for executing it and retrieving whatever objects it needed, and it uses it in the query information and whatever. Then as the server is using very less time, here server can serve the multiple clients at the same point. So let's know about the object server advantages. As we are only sharing single objects, so method of applicable everywhere, like it can be executed everywhere, centralized concurrency control, cheap object-based constraints. As we are taking only very less time, and even only client is responsible for the object, so it advantages of object server are this. Then if it comes to disadvantages, complex objects requires multiple expensive RPC calls. Like if we having client needs more objects to be executed, like multiple objects, it needs continuously some objects. So it is keep on asking the server to give objects continuously, which like RPC call is like remote. 1 minute. Sorry. So RPC call is like what is it? Sorry, it is remote procedure call. So client makes a call to the server to get some objects. If it is asking continuous objects, then the time which it spends on the retrieving the objects is more than the execution time. So it complexes the time. And complicated server design to make it run arbitrary methods. Like if the server is having lot of data, then retrieving the objects from it is literally a very hard thing. Then expensive cache, inconsistent cache. Like if the cache, as we know, cache is a costly thing, and maintaining lot of data in a cache is also a hard thing. If we have to maintain multiple objects, then we have to remove some page objects and get some more objects. So it is a time taking process and memory based process. Next, page server advantages. Most of complexity on the client side, as client side is only responsible for the execution of the whole process, so it is complexity. And even it is advantage because only client is responsible for the execution, and server has very less time to it is not involved in the execution. Overhead of server work is minimized. Yes, as client is taking the execution thing, then server will have very less time. Then more scalable than object server approach, because in client object server approach, both client and server are responsible for execution alternatively. Here only client is responsible. Automatic prefetch of other objects if data exhibits space locality. Like here pages are retrieved from the server to the clients, and client maintains that objects pages in its cache, and it only fetches the objects which is needed from single page. So it doesn't need to ask each and every object to the server. So that reduces the time complexity and execution time. Disadvantages of page server. Methods can be evaluated only on client side. Because the overload is happening at client side, it is a major disadvantage of page server. Difficulty to implement object level locking. Like here in even object server and even in page server is only responsible for locking level. So object level locking is not possible in page server because object is a part of page. In performance significance degrade if clustering mechanism is not effective. Like if client needs some objects which are not present in the page which it has, then it needs to ask for some more pages. For the pages which it is asking, maybe it not be present in the page server, like it is not present in the server cache. So it needs to retrieve more. So it is not effective to work fastly.
When it comes to client buffer management, clients are responsible for maintaining both page buffer and even object buffer. So when it comes to object buffer, client takes the objects which are needed for itself and removes the pages if in case they need another page to get in. So objects buffer doesn't need to be flushed out and flushed in because it will only maintain the object needed for it, and even after using it, it flushes out and asks the server to get the new objects. When it comes to server buffer management, server buffer is responsible for maintaining the objects like pages, so which are needed for the client. Whenever the client requests for some pages, then the server is responsible for giving back to the client. Server is responsible to refer to the disk and flush out the pages which are requested. Whenever the client asks for a specific objects like pages which need some specific objects, so server maintains a modified object buffer which contains objects which are needed by the client. Thank you.